Hey, welcome in, guys, to another episode of Thrift Chronicles. I'm your host, We Be Thrifting, JonnyO, with my other host.
Games by Omar. What's going on, everybody?
So, Omar, I guess today was probably, or this week was probably a rough week for me as in sales. I don't know about you. I know I've been so busy doing a bunch of other stuff with my kids and stuff. I was so behind. I think I have over like 60, items sold on eBay. I'm still trying to catch up. I don't know how you're looking on your end with selling, so it'd be rough out there.
I mean, it's so for me, the online has slowed down, but the in-store has been decent, and like the in-person, like the Facebook marketplace type of stuff, like that's been actually pretty steady. I mean, now we're in October. So I'm hoping, this is the fourth quarter financially for those who are getting in, getting into this type of thing. Fourth quarter is your October to basically to the new year. So this is the time to really get them sales in. And I'm gonna say something that I'm not even doing myself, but this is the time you should be listing constantly, because in about I would say a month things are going to pick up once you hit November, the holiday season, and a lot of people are starting to go the route where they're buying like used stuff as gifts, especially like, all right, my field is retro gaming. So, buying a brand new Super Nintendo from like 1994 is going to cost you a lot of money, right? So, people are buying used stuff left and right. So it now's the time to get all that stuff ready. I mean, really, it should have been ready, but getting everything ready to push out. I think that's what this whole first week should be. But my sales online have been definitely it dipped a little bit, but I think because I've been doing a lot of in person stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think this is, like you said, is a fourth quarter with selling because I think right now that's why I've been getting a lot of sales too because it's the holiday season's coming up. A lot of people want to buy a lot of stuff pre-owned. Not, we're not gonna say used because no one uses used anymore. And you want to get the deals and buy bundles. So like I'm trying to catch up with my sales online, and I feel like every time when I do catch up, like I've been noticing within the last recent days, I'll catch up, and then I'll wake up in the morning and then I'll sell like another maybe 10 or 15 items. I'm like, man, am I ever going to catch up? But at the same time, I can't complain because it's a blessing that I am getting these sales and people are actually coming to my store to buy stuff. So it helps me out to clean inventory. And at the same time, it helps me, build this rapport with these customers that are constantly going on my store and asking for deals or purchasing bundles. And then like now too, it's like I've been trying to go out and resource for other stuff. But lately, man, it's like a lot of these thrift stores are, depending which one I go to, some are a little bit pricier than others. And then some, it's like, I kind of like, okay, do I want to buy this? And is it even worth the amount of money for me to buy to make some type of profit back? So I just been kind of like picking and choosing and then giving myself a kind of a budget, just like anybody else would give themselves a budget when they come to my store or they would meet you on Marketplace in person to try to buy something.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I I've said it before, I rarely hit the thrift, at least the one near me now. Um, because there's one near me. I still call it Circus City because it used to be Circus City when I was in high school. And it's busy, man. One thing I can say about that thrift store really is there's always new stuff coming in. Always new stuff coming in. But it's like kind of a staple of the valley. Everybody knows about it. So it's packed. Now, granted, most people are like in the clothes and the shoes, like for you, it's a dream, bro, because there is so much stuff out there, all the time. But the game section, they're starting to pick up on prices and all that stuff there. So like realistically, the margins for me at that store haven't been that great. So I haven't been in a while, but speaking to you, I'm like, man, I need to go over there and check that out because it's been a minute for sure. But like you were saying, man, having excessive sales to catch up, that's a good problem to have, So having sales is definitely better than no sales. So, I mean, you killing it, bro. That's what it should be. You know, you just have sales that you got to get out and just getting everything out so the new stuff could come in. And for people that's coming in, that's a blessing, man. Like you said, I mean, a lot of sellers that I know are not necessarily flooded with sales, so and I think at least overall everybody should get a little better within the next month. So if you're a reseller right now and you're struggling, just give it another 30 days and it's gonna pick up. All you gotta do is keep listing.
Yeah, you're right. For any new reseller, they should just give it like 30 days approximately, because I feel like whatever they choose to sell, people are going to go on their store, because people are always hunting online for deals or certain things that one seller might not have, another seller might have. So I think that's really really good. And like you said, with me with the sales, yeah, it's a good, then it's a bad thing. Like I said, because sometimes with me catching up, I don't have enough material, then I got to
Yeah.
go out and buy material. Or sometimes it's like I have everything, but I just don't have enough time to, because I'm doing everything on my own, just like how you're doing everything on your own on your end. It's just a lot when you're trying to do everything and then juggle the family life with picking up kids, dropping them off, doing what other stuff you got to do, maybe cleaning or cooking, or vice versa. It's just so much, but we both try to do what we can. This is the lifestyle that we're choosing, to become a reseller full time, and it is a blessing because we do have all this free time. So I enjoy it. I know you enjoy it. Uh, I'm trying to clear inventory. I think my sister-in-law just came down last weekend. And to be honest, like, bro, like the first thing she did was like, "Hey, bro," and then walked right past me and literally went behind me to my inventory and started shopping. I said, "Oh, okay, cool. I guess go to my We Be Thrifting thrift store. Help
There you
yourself."
go. Hey, get in there. Yeah, man. It's I'm always stuck in between. I part of me is like, man, I need to liquidate some stuff, but then the other half of me was like, man, I'm gonna hold this till the buyer comes. It's sometimes it's a little conflicting, like how I want to do things, or I kind of like portion out certain things. I feel like if I get it cheaper, I'm willing to just kind of liquidate it and whatever happens, happens. But the things that if I do pay up, which is kind of rare, but if I do pay up on something, then I'm like, nah, you know what? I have to hold firm. But I mean, this is the season, man. It's I'm excited because last year's the holiday season was really good for me. So I'm hoping we can, replicate that, and not to get into much, but there's with all this political and tariffs on buying things that are outside the U.S. and this and that. This is the time for us to really make some money here because some things that people were going to buy they may not be buying anymore. So we're the alternative here and getting that stuff to the customer, that's important, man. I mean, I've been trying to get my shipping time down. If something sells, I try to get it pretty much out of there ASAP. I'm trying to streamline my process because I know that, the orders are just going to be coming in.
No, yeah, you're totally right. I agree with you too. Like, I'm trying to get my shipping time in order. Sometimes I can't really catch up on like what exactly needs to be shipped, because I think I missed the other day. I thought I did everything that was scheduled to do a couple days ago, and then I get a notification from eBay saying like, "Hey, this package or this item is over the limit." Like, I mean, not overdue. I mean, and I'm like, "Oh, I thought I ended up doing all that." But sometimes you're just people. We're just everywhere. So I ended up, like I said, we all make mistakes. So as a reseller, you new resellers, you guys are gonna make mistakes. We're always learning each and every day. This is a part of the game. So like I ended up catching it later on, rather than having the customer write me and say, "Hey, what's up with my package? Like, you were supposed to ship it, let's just say 3 days ago." So, but I think I was only like a day late, but I ended up shipping it yesterday, so I should be good. Oh, but by the way, too, like, Omar, I see that. So, are you going to do that upcoming show, that the one that you posted on your IG? You thinking about doing that one
Oh
or
yeah,
event pop up?
definitely. Yes, sir. So that one, I don't even remember the date off the top of my mind, but that one is from a friend of mine, Z, that's coming out. It's Blurred's Inland Empire. That's and it's going to be in November. and I'm gonna go ahead and set up a table there. I think in general, I'm going to make all of my shows kind of like the smaller table setup. And then on a bigger like SoCal Gaming Expo, like the big expos, that's when I'll go get like my 10 by 10. And when I say big, 10 by 10 is not big, but for me it is. Like I usually go do a 10 by 10 and have like 3 tables and do this whole thing. But I'm starting to cut back a little bit so that I can, just focus a lot more on the online because I'm spreading myself thin, man. I'm one guy. So I've realized that, with the stores, I have 2 stores and the events and the online, like it gets kind of hectic. So I'll be there. I need to go ahead and get that application put in, and then we're gonna make some money, because the
Yeah,
live
I
the
agree.
live shows, for people that are trying to get into reselling, the events, depending on the event, depending on obviously, the customers that come through and obviously your inventory, things of that matter, events can be a very good source of income, one, and then a way to get your brand or your company out in the community. And for a while I was just selling online and, Facebook Marketplace here and there. And, ever since I started doing these events, shows, whatever you want to call them, pop-ups, you really get to know people in the community, you get to know your customers, and there's so many, I always talk about parlaying things and the other things, but so many opportunities can come from meeting somebody in person. They get to buy from you in person, and get to know you as a seller, get to know your product. So I always encourage doing the live shows. I usually do maybe like 1 or 2 a month, and at least just get out and do different ones so that you can be everywhere. You never know where your next customer is gonna be.
Yeah, no, you're right. Cause like I like that you do events, pop ups, shows, whatever they're called. I know you put me on, and I know you're always doing like at least once or twice a show a year. And like you said, it's a lot better because per se, the people get to meet you in person. You get to network with a lot of other vendors, and then with that vendor, they might refer you to another vendor for another show, or you might meet them at another show, or you guys can combine. Probably you set up a table together if you guys do the same thing, and it's a lot easier too because like you said, the customers are there for you. Like online is great. Don't get me wrong, online is great for anybody that wants to do reselling. But at the same time, I feel like what you're doing with the pop-ups, that's even better because it's with hand, where they're giving you the cash, you're meeting them, the customer, you get to communicate. And like I said, networking is key in this business, and you get that transaction. And I know I need to do one, so I am thinking about doing the one that you're going to do. I just need to necessarily make sure that I have enough inventory, just the right inventory that I need to buy for that particular venue. I'm not saying that whatever I get is not going to work, but I know, I want to kind of reach to that audience, whether it's anime, Pokemon cards, or Marvel, whatever. But I'm trying to get that. But I am looking into getting the show. I want to be able to do shows as much as you're doing, so then it keeps me on my toes, like, okay, I got to do something this weekend, so then I can try to get stuff out. And at the same time, we're both the same, whereas in we're the only ones doing this together. So I don't want to take too much inventory, knowing that I got to unpack it, and pack it, and set up by myself. Vice versa, like with you, I know it's just you. I know your daughter does help you, but you have a bigger vehicle than me, so you're able to take a lot more. But at the same time, I know you're trying to take less because you want to make sure you're not taking too much in your vehicle.
So I'm gonna keep it 100, man. My main reason for not trying to take too much is because when it's time to go, I'm ready to go, bro. I'm out of there. Yeah, I'm out of there, man. Like, I'm not trying to spend an extra like 45 to an hour breaking down because, I mean, listen, I commend a lot of because there's a lot of people that I know, man, and they have these big elaborate setups, man. And I commend them for that because it's more inventory that they could bring. It's more inventory that they could sell. But I'm like, man, the setup and the tear down, no thanks, man. Like I'm gonna go ahead and pass on all of that. So I, I take my basic setup. Like if it's a 3-day thing, so let me clarify actually. Like SoCal Gaming Expo, Megabyte Nation. like Comic-Con, stuff like that. Those are like multi-day events. So those type of events, like the bigger events, you bring all that stuff and set up and all of that. But for the smaller stuff, like I'm not doing that for a day, bro. And it's just, and more power to people that do it. Cause I know like my boy Kame House Collectibles, shout out to him, man. He goes to he's always at events, man, big and small. And his setup is so clean. Like he has the canopy with his brand logo, like, and he does it professionally. And they're quick, to be honest. I gotta move the way he moves because he'll be tearing that whole thing down. And his setup is way more elaborate than mine, and we get done the same time. And mine's only tables and chairs, bro. So, maybe it's just me being slow. I don't know what it is, but that dude be moving when he tears stuff. So shout out to him, man. But it's yeah, the events, for me, I've learned if I'm gonna do this full time, I can't be one dimensional. That's the biggest thing. When I decided, so me just selling online and doing, you know, I mean, offer up in Facebook Marketplace and occasional eBay, maybe a few whatnots here and there. That's cool when I was doing this part time. But I realized that, okay, for me to do this full time, I really need to take advantage of all the different customers that I can find. So that
Yeah.
means, you know, being in front of people is big. And me and from the beginning, like I wasn't trying to do none of that.
Yeah, I know.
I just wanted to ship your stuff and send it out to you and call it a day. But being in front of people, getting to know your community, getting to know other communities, the pop-ups are good for that. Same thing with, like I said, I rent space in the two stores that I'm at. Both of them are not necessarily in my neighborhood. Those customers that go to these stores are people that probably wouldn't even know about me because I'm in the valley. So it's just about broadening that horizon and getting the customers any which way you can, especially if you're full time. That's big because there's going to be days where eBay's not hitting, or you might do whatnot and it might not work, or put some stuff on Encore, it doesn't get bids. You never know. Every day is different. So going out and going into your community, doing a pop-up show, or putting your stuff in a store, stuff like that. I mean, that's good ways to supplement those sales. And then they all kind of just build on each other.
Yeah, they all like intertwined with each other too, like how you're saying with everything. And I feel like too, what do you think about doing? Because I've been thinking about too. I know we brought it up before, not on a episode, like a swap meet atmosphere. Because I've met people where I've sold stuff to, and they don't do the online stuff because they're not really familiar with it. But I do know that some of them that I spoke to, they're like, hey, I'm buying this stuff off of you per se because I go to swap meet 5 days out of the week. They're like, I do pretty well selling this stuff for the swap meet. So, like, that's something that I'm looking into because I know, like, I have a majority of stuff. But have you ever thought about doing that, bro?
So for me, yes, yes, I have, but I think for me, it's the commitment, the time, and you could do a pop up and that's like one day but if you had to dedicate 3, 4 days where you have to be there, that's kind of, I don't know if that would work for me right now per se, because my main goal, to be honest, would be to get a store. So I think if I were to do something like that, I would just get the store it as opposed from the swap meet. But it's a good, I know a lot of people who go the swap meet route, and you make some good money. And the thing about these swap meets is there's a lot of just customers coming, whether they're fellow resellers or whether they're just random people. So you're always going to have an assortment of people in there. I'm considering it. I've had some things on the table recently that are kind of like a swap meet atmosphere, but I haven't committed to it yet just because I don't know if I can say that I'm going to be here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday every week, That
No, you're right because I think too is because of scheduling wise too. You know what I mean? You got to be able to find scheduling wise with your family life plus also doing your your business and making sure that you're dedicated to do the business type because you don't want to say you're
yeah, exactly. And I think that's really what it comes down to is, just being there and committing to that, just knowing that cuz all right, my business, I guess you could say, is like really really hectic cuz we could be talking right now and then I see something crazy on like Facebook Marketplace. And I'm like, "Hey man, I got to go." If I'm locked in at a swap meet and I can't go anywhere for, X amount of hours or X amount of days, then I might miss that opportunity. And
yeah.
to me, it's almost like having a job. That's like having a job. You got to be there. You're obligated to be there. And I'm not, this is just I think for a lot of people, the swap I've seen for a lot of people the swap meet stuff where especially, in my field, video games, you do really, really well selling video games at a swap meet, like really well. Collectibles, cards, stuff like that. I feel like does really well at the swap meet. Whenever I go, I see those dudes killing it. But I think logistically, it just wouldn't. It would take too much away from other things that I do for the business. So at the moment, I think unless it was like maybe 2 days a week, I probably wouldn't do it. But it's one of those things that, things change in the future, man. You gotta with business, you have to move with the time. So even though it's something that may not work for me today, it could definitely be something that works for me tomorrow. So um I definitely I would consider it. I mean, it's a great opportunity. And a lot of those spaces are actually really affordable, like ridiculously affordable. And
No,
you know,
they
you
yeah they are. They're not really that much because don't they go by certain days, right? Because I know the one of the ladies that I talked to, she was saying during the week is a little bit cheaper, but then when it gets to the weekends, because everybody wants to do it on the weekends, they're a little bit more. But I'm not saying like they're pricey. I don't know what the prices are where you're at, but I know she was telling me over here because I'm in Riverside. She was saying that one of the swap meets around the corner from me on the weekends. I believe she said 65 or 70 a spot, something like that,
oh yeah, that's not bad, man. You got to think depending on what you bring, you make that back with a couple sales, man, easily.
or maybe
So
one sale.
yeah, or maybe one sale. Yeah, you're right. And maybe one sale, and then you don't even have to worry about it. So it's definitely a good outlet to sell. Because the thing is, once again, that goes back to the community aspect. If you're there and you're a constant presence there every week, every month, people see you, and then you're having different stuff. You're just building clientele right there. So then, you don't even really not that you don't have to worry about the online, but come let's just say Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that you have buyers that are coming to look specifically for your stuff. And that's key right there. And I think that's why I couldn't do it because I know I couldn't consistently be there. I could be there, just not every, whatever amount of days per week. And I think to
Yeah.
build up really good at the swap meets, you need that consistency. I mean, with anything, really, you need consistency, but for sure, at the swap meet, because I know, the few times that I'm going, there's like specific people I'm already like, okay, I gotta hit this dude's booth. I gotta hit this dude's booth. And of course you look at everybody because you never know what you could find. But once you have somebody that you've made a few transactions, you've done business with, and the product is good, the price is good, you're gonna seek them out again. I mean that's just human nature, or it should be human nature to do that. So yeah, the swap meet, man, it's big, for buying and selling. You catch a lot of people slipping too. A lot of sellers slipping at the swap meet.
Yeah, a lot of people get a lot of stuff from the swap meet. I see a lot of videos that I watch from other resellers. They buy a lot of things for a swap meet because, like you say too, some people at the swap meets are just trying to get rid of the stuff, and then there's people there that are resellers, and there's people that just want to buy stuff for really cheap, rather than go to a thrift store or a regular like the mall or maybe like Target or per se. But these people, they want to get rid of stuff, and at the same time, at the swap meets, it's like kind of like the pop ups that we're talking about. You're in person, so you get to network at the same time and meet these people, and then you might have built that relationship with them, and they're like, hey, you know what? Look, I see that you sell. Let's just say video games. Hey man, my sons, they're way older now. They don't want these games. I don't know anything about these games. They might be collectible, maybe worth something, or maybe not. But I wanted to know, hey, like I want to give you a deal, or you give me a deal per se for these games just to get them off of me because I want to get rid of it. And sometimes you meet people like that to get these type of deals, and it's good.
What you just explained is like my dream scenario. I love when that happens. But yeah, it can definitely happen at a swap meet. I know I'll give a little story. This wasn't necessarily like um a structured swap meet, but there was this spot that I used to frequent, man, every Saturday, and it was basically a stretch of road where there wasn't really anything going on. Like it was just a big old sidewalk, and I don't remember what was. I think it was like a soccer field behind or whatever the case may be. But every Saturday, these people would set up, right? And everybody has their little tables, and they're selling. It was primarily, I would say, like 90% tools, right? That people were selling there. And I just remember one time, like a dude had like a old school Nintendo and like, no, yeah, Nintendo, a Super Nintendo, and a bunch of games, like some solid titles. Asked him how much he wants. He said $50. So of course, I bought that like in a heartbeat. So I explained to him, like, listen, bro, if you find anything similar to this right here, bring it. So
Yeah,
then next week he brought something else. I don't even remember what he brought the second time. I bought it. The people around him noticed that. So then I would come back and everybody was just bringing video games, stuff that they didn't think. Because the thing is, everybody's perception of value is different. One dude told me, he was like, man, he cleaned out houses. That's how he used to get these things. His job was to clean out houses, and they would throw away like a lot of, he was like, I used to throw this stuff away. I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy. But, he wanted the furniture because he was selling furniture, the washers, dryers, like things of that nature is that's where the value was for him. So,
yeah,
you know, just through that, I brokered a deal with him. I'm like, listen, man, you clean out these houses, you find anything that look like this, and this, bring it, and I'll just buy it, bro. Like, I will buy it. And that built, and a lot of people were noticing, so everybody was bringing it. And I was thrifting off of that place really good for a greater part of the year, man. And I remember the first time I got there and I saw like somebody, because the thing is, nobody was going there for video games. Everybody was going there for tools. So I had no competition, I was just strolling up in there, talking with everybody and just buy my stuff, get in, get out. And then I remember like one day I got there and I see a dude just walking out to his car with a gang of games, man. And my heart was broken because I was like, man, like, they were bringing these games for me. Like, how that even happened? But you never know. And you could find somebody like that at the swap meet for whatever it is that you're looking for, because everybody's looking for something different, and I know people that don't even think about video games as valuable or nothing like that. They're just buying belt buckles or I mean, sneakers are always big. Anything, hats, you know, bottle caps. I mean, there's so many different things out there. So, the swap meets, that's the perfect space to find this type of thing.
yeah. So I mean, like most definitely, it's a perfect place to find stuff and to get find stuff, get stuff for really cheap, and even like I feel like a reseller can also start there too if they wanted to, because I know most of people that I see that resell, they usually go on there and get the tables and stuff like that, because like you said, the tables are really really affordable. So I feel like with that, they can really start off with that if they don't necessarily want to do a online store. But either way, it's whatever as a new reseller chooses to do. It's their preference, as in what they want to do, whether they want to do an online store or like a pop up to start off with minimal of inventory, or even do a swap meet thing. I feel like or you can even start doing a yard sale, because I know a lot of people want to do yard sales and stuff like that, get rid of their stuff, but at the same time, be reasonable, But I do agree with you with the swap meet thing. That's like the best thing to go find. So especially like how you stated, like if you were the only one selling games, everyone's just pretty much going for tools. Like why not? I think, and then everybody will alert to your table, and you're just like, oh man, I'm just overwhelmed with all these people trying to buy these games.
Yeah, I mean, it's you gotta find what works for you as a new reseller coming up. Um, there's so many opportunities. The thing is, being a reseller can be hard sometimes because there's a lot of people doing exactly what you do. So you have
Yeah,
to find avenues and ways and build relationships in order to source inventory. Because I'm telling you, if you sit around all day and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna find something on Facebook Marketplace when it pops up, there's like 50 other people doing the exact same thing. They're waiting for something to pop up, or they're waiting for, or they're going to the yard sale. Like, I mean, go to the yard sales. If it starts at 8, you got to be there 7:30. If you're there at 8, whatever you're looking for might already be gone, because most people go early. They try to get in early, and it's all about using that app